The only difference between remove and tear out is the word skillfully remove. The description doesn't make a lot of sense. Hey everybody, this is Andy with Patterson Adjuster Training. Today, I'm going to take you on a magical journey to Symbility. It's not a state of mind, it's an estimating software. We're going to do a diagram, add some line items, and have a lot of fun. I'm going to give you a snapshot and a quick view of Symbility, what it looks like, how you can diagram, how you can add line items. It will not answer all of your questions. Matter of fact, it'll probably produce more questions than I answer. But keep in mind, it's going to be a high-level overview of what Symbility is and how it may be different than Xactimate. So there's two parts to Symbility. There is the Symbility Claims Connect, and there's Symbility Mobile Claims. The difference between the two is Symbility Claims Connect is like the hub. That's where all of your administration stuff is done, the software updates. So just think about Claims Connect as the cloud or the administration part. Symbility Mobile Claims is where you're actually going to do most of your work. That's where you're going to do your estimates, you're going to build your diagram, your line items. It's going to be where you spend most of your time writing estimates. So the difference in the two, here is Claims Connect, and you can see it shows your active claims. I don't have any right now. Any assignments that you had, and then the estimates that you had, which show here as well. You can also go to like the admin part of it. You can set rules and alerts. You can do your notifications, quick list. That's where you do a lot of your shortcuts on your quick list, your preferences, and so forth. That was Claims Connect. This is Symbility Mobile Claims. This is where you're going to do the majority of your work. And so I already built this practice estimate in here, and it brings up your main page, which kind of gives you a snapshot of your claim. It's insured's name, claim is open, policy number. If it's a catastrophe, have that in here. The originator. One thing really important, kind of like Xactimate, if somebody has an estimate checked out, you can't really do anything with it. You can view only, but you can't make any edits. The same way here, you have to actually own the claim that you're working on. Now Symbility recommends every morning when you pull this up, hit synchronize, so it pulls in any new assignment, pulls in any updates. From there, you'll click on the claim number and it'll bring up your Claim Explorer and your loss summary page. Your Claim Explorer, think about that as your guide to your claim. You think about an explorer, they're the ones that go out and explore new territory, they discover new things. That is kind of what this is over here. It's kind of your flow. This is where everything pertaining to the claim is found. It's broken up in these columns. It's almost like the Xactimate grouping tree, like when you're in an estimate and you're building like roof, front elevation, rear elevation, music room, TV room, and that's the grouping tree in Xactimate. It's kind of the same thing here. So on this loss summary page, it shows the claim number and all the typical policy information, claim information, the name of the policy holder, and then here, this will come in on your assignment. The assignment will bring this in, but I'm just going to type something in, and then same thing with the cause of loss and the damages. Leave it like that. Your type of claim is residential or commercial. This is residential structural. This is a price list that I downloaded. I downloaded it for Tyler, Texas. I don't live in Tyler, Texas, but I just used that as an example. And then here's your policy. I just went with what was already in here. Structure is already pre-built in here. I added the limit, coverable depreciation, and I added a deductible of $2,000. And you can also map it. So if you hit map, it'll show you how to get there. You can also view your route by turn. All right, so I'm going to make this a quick overview. It's not going to answer all your questions. You're going to have probably more questions when the video ends than you do right now, but I wanted to show you what it kind of looks like for those who have heard about it, never seen it. So I'm going to skip down all these. We're going to go to diagram. In Xactimate, this is called sketch. Here it's called diagram. So click on floor plan, and I'm going to take this out. Okay, so this white space here is your canvas. This is where you're going to build your diagram. This tab here that says items, you're going to click on that, and that's where all of your line items are going to be, like shingles, drywall, any line item that you add, it's going to be in here. And you can see kind of the same category codes as Xactimate. And then here is going to be your quantities. So the room that you're working in or the roof that you're working on, your quantities will be shown over here, and you can just quickly minimize those by hitting these arrows. Now whenever you click on the canvas, it brings up your menu for the canvas. When you drop a room down here, it's going to bring up the menu for that room. This is called the ribbon, and it's dynamic. It moves around and changes depending on where you're at or what you're doing in the claim. Now these are pre-built shapes, room shapes, that Symbility has in here, or you can do freeform. I'm just going to go with a square, which is what most people normally do. I've selected it. Now I'm going to bring my cursor over to the canvas, and then I'm going to drop the room down. It immediately brings up some pre-built labels, and it's in alphabetical order. None of the labels that my room label is not in here, so I'm just going to click on room and put my own label in. Now a couple of things. One, this compass, you just click on it, hold down your left mouse button, you can spin it around. And then when you move inside the room, you see that crosshairs with those 4 arrows. That means you can move it around. Now this down here, I kind of like this. It shows your ceiling height. So let me zoom in. And zoom in is shift the plus sign. So here's your ceiling height. What I like about it, you can just click on it and change it. So I'm going to change it to 8 feet. Now I'm going to zoom back out and recenter this. Okay, so there's 3 ways to dimension a room or change the measurements. You can just click on it and type in the measurement, or you can use these sizing handles, and you can either go left or right, up and down, or you can resize all 4 walls by dragging this corner. Now, so you can use the sizing handles, you can just click on it, or you can use this tape measure. So these large arrows represent increments of 1 foot. So this is 10 foot 9. If I want to bring it down to 4 foot 9, then each time I click it, it goes down 1 foot. There, 4 feet 9. Now if I want to go up, that brings it out in 1 foot increments. These small arrows bring it up or down in 1 inch increments. So you can do it that way. Normally it's easier just to click on the measurement and change it that way. Here's one difference in Symbility versus Xactimate. In Xactimate you could do 21,5. Here you can't do that. It doesn't recognize the commas, so you have to use an apostrophe. So our room is 21,5. Enter. This measurement is 16.4. So let's use this tape measure to go to 16.4. So there's 16.1, 2, 3, 4. Zoom out. So we got our measurements of the main footprint of the room, 21.5, 16.4, 8 feet. And this is the room that I did the small drywall repair video on. Now, you see how all of these menu options changed because this room is selected, it's blue. Then I click out of it, then it gives me menu options for the canvas itself. That ribbon menu changes depending on where I'm at. So I click back on the room, it gives me room options. Now I won't go into all of these, but I'll quickly hit on some of them. So if you want to rotate the room 45 degrees, I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but if you wanted to, you could. So then you got block. This would be for your cabinets, fireplace, or anything that you normally use to block in Xactimate. Same thing here. Wall editor. This is different. I'll show you that in a second. Ceiling editor. I'll show you that in a minute. Segment mode. Now think about this. If you're changing the shape of the room, then you would use this segment mode. If you're doing a build out, you're adding a room, then you would do build out. So I'll click on build out, and then it loads my cursor. I got crosshairs, so I can just click once and then click again. It's almost like the square break tool. So I've got 2 points there. I can drag this out and it's another room. And it pulls out same properties as far as the ceiling as the music room. And then if I don't want that, I can just highlight it, hit delete up here, or I can just hit delete on my keyboard. So I'll show you that again. Let me resize this. And this Claim Explorer tab, or this Claim Explorer column, you can unpin it and gives you more room. So I'm going to unpin this, and if I want to pin it back, I can just click on it and put a pin in it. I'm going to unpin it right now. So you notice our ribbon doesn't have the room option, so you got to click in the room, and then we're going to do a build out mode. So I'm going to just add a closet here. So I clicked once, then I clicked again. Now it gives me the sizing handle, so I'm going to pull it out, and then there's my room. And then you can move it around however you want. That's the build out tool. Hit delete, click on my room again. Now the room that we're working on has an inset here, and it also has a hallway here. So we're going to drop this hallway in. So what I'm going to do is do segment mode, kind of the same way. This wall above it is 310. So drop it there, and this hallway is 3 wide. I'm just going to get it close. Now I'm going to pull it out, and see it brings out a hallway like we need it. So I'm going to click on this. Since I'm only going down 2 inches because this hallway is 3, I'm going to go down. Now this wall is 10.6. I got to go down here and do this inset. So I'm going to segment mode, and I'm just going to get this close. See, it loaded my cursor. I dropped a mark there. Now it's going to bring it in, and then I'm just going to type in my dimensions. This is 2'4", this is 2'1". So there's our room. Now the problem with this is this room does not have a box ceiling. It's an attic style ceiling. So let me show you how you can change the ceiling type. So I'm going to select the room, go to my menu, ceiling editor. Now this brings up a couple of panels. It brings up ceiling properties here, and you can pick which one you want, and it changes the ones down here. But this view is a top down view or floor plan view, and this arrow is pointing to the elevation, if you will, that you're looking at. We're standing here looking at this side of the room. This gives us a 3D view. And so what you'll have to do is get the glove inside this room, and then you can spin it around, flip it 3-dimensionally. And then the arrow at the top moves. Now we're looking at this wall, and that's what it's showing us, looking at this wall. I'm going to change this. This is an attic style ceiling, but in here it's called flat peaked. So our ceiling is 8 feet, the sides are 2'8", and the short wall and the tall wall are the same. In Xactimate you have to change them short and tall. This one you don't, it just has you click on them. Click in here, and we can do a 3D view of the room. There's our hallway, there's our little inset. Now if we want to go back, we just go up here to our ribbon, hit the floor plan, and it'll bring us back. Now this room had a door here that went to the attic, and a door here that went to the rest of the house, and it had a window here. And just like Xactimate, there's several ways to do something. I'm just going to do it this way, wall editor, and it shows you which wall that you're working on. So I want to look at this wall, and we can place a window here, and so we can load the cursor and we can just place a window right there, and you can right click on it, and this is a single hung window, so I'm going to do single hung, and then we can set the width, which is a 3-foot window, and it's 4 feet tall, and it's actually centered in the room. So we'll just center this 8'1", and there's our window. If you look at the 3D view, it shows our window there. Okay, let's go back to floor plan. Now we've got a door here and a door here. So let's go to wall editor. And so let's go over here, click on this wall, and then we can add a door. And that looks good, so I'm just gonna click there. So you can obviously add a door that way. You can go to the room, wall editor, and then go to whatever wall you're working on, and then add a door. But I think it's easier just to go to your plan view, select the wall that you're working on. I just clicked on it, and then hit door. It's going to drop a door there, and then you can move the door wherever you want. So I'm going to drop another door here on this wall, but I've got to select the wall, door, drop it in. You can right click on the door to change the swing orientation. So that's right. That's all good there. Okay, so now I'm going to click on the room again and go to quantities. Now it's showing our length, total length, width, height, gives us square footage of the walls, all that good stuff like it would in Xactimate. I showed you how to do the windows and the doors. And again, just to recap that, because I might have went pretty quick, you can go to wall editor and then pick the wall you want to add the door on. This arrow, we're facing this wall, which doesn't have a door. This wall does. So we're going to click on this wall. There's the window. And then we'll click on this wall. That's the door. And then we'll click on this one. That's the door. Another area you can see it is the ceiling editor. Let me go back. So we're in this room view. And here's the room ribbon. Click on the ceiling editor. It'll show you the actual room. And so you've got a door there. There's the door that leads out of the music room. Here's the door that leads into the attic. And I'll spin it around. There's our attic ceiling. And there's that window, which faces the outside of the house, obviously. I think on my sketch I had a window here, but that was wrong, so I deleted that. It only has 2 doors and 1 window. Okay, so let's talk about how we add estimate items. So what we can do is we're going to go to the items list, and I want to talk about a couple of things first. This price list that I'm using is January 2022 for Tyler, Texas, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So here's all of your categories, similar to Xactimate. Has all your categories here. If you want to search for something, you can use these binoculars. Let's just type in carpet. So it has the carpet category, has wall carpet, and then it has all these options here. That's one way to do it. You can search it by that. But you can also go to the picture and search it by the picture, kind of like Xactimate. Now you can add whatever you want to your favorites, just almost like a internet site. You can pick something and then add it to your favorites. So I won't go into all this stuff. I just want to do a basic overview as to what Symbility looks like. So what I'm going to do is go back to my items list. I'm going to go here, DRY. So I'm going to click on drywall, click on the price list to get back to the category codes. So we're going to do drywall. We're going to go drywall, walls and ceiling. Now the thing that's different in Symbility versus Xactimate. So in Xactimate, if you're replacing the drywall on the ceiling, for example, you just type in DRY 1/2 minus, and that gets you remove and replace the drywall and gets it ready for texture. Then for your calculation variable, you type in C for ceiling. That's Xactimate. Symbility is different. They have separate line items for ceiling and wall drywall. So if you look here on the screen, we got drywall ceiling 1/2 inch, and then we got drywall wall 1/2 inch. So if you're doing it on the walls, then you're going to select this one down here, the drywall wall 1/2 inch. And then of course it has 1/2 inch, and you can click on it to see what it involves. So I'm gonna click on it. So it says includes labor to skillfully remove without damage 1/2 inch drywall per square feet or per square foot. Labor cost includes time to place the debris into a waste container. And then the replace says gypsum sandwiched between 2 layers of paper form a ridge interior wall finish. I'm not sure why that's in there because it's talking about how drywall is actually made. Includes 1/2 inch drywall screws labor to install per square foot of wall area. Does not include seam tape, joint compound, corner bead. So what this is saying is strictly is just to hang the drywall. Now what I want to draw your attention to is this remove and tear out. I don't necessarily agree with this. So if you look at this, remove the drywall on the wall is 48 cents a square foot. To tear it out is 27 cents. My thought was this talks about skillfully removing the drywall. This talks about just tearing it out. It's kind of confusing. So I did some digging, and on Symbility's help desk, frequently asked questions, the question that somebody brought up and they answered was, what is the difference between tear out and remove? Answer, there is a subtle price difference, but ultimately it has to do with the level of care going into that action. For example, if you're removing some wallpaper but not ripping out the drywall behind that, then you're going to put some more care into the process than if everything was ultimately being torn out. You can think of it as if the items are going to end up in a dumpster, then that will likely be tear out. The only problem with that is if you compare this to Xactimate prices, what I did is I downloaded January 2022 price list for Tyler, Texas in Xactimate, and I went to the drywall pricing. So if you look at the unit pricing, the removal price is 39 cents. It's demolition labor a square foot. Or here it's 29 cents a square foot. And then to remove, it's 48 cents. So if you're using Xactimate, contractor's going to make more money than using this tear out on Symbility. Their answer talks about it's going into the dumpster anyway. Well, this one says labor costs include time to place the debris into a waste dumpster. This talks about labor cost includes time to place debris in a waste container. The only difference between remove and tear out is skillfully remove without damage. Well, this description doesn't make a lot of sense. Includes labor to skillfully remove without damage 1/2 inch drywall. Well, you're removing the drywall. You're not going to remove it without any damage, so it's a little confusing. It doesn't make any sense, really. If anybody knows the answer to that question, put it in the comments below so we'll all know. But this here is just kind of confusing. But anyway, so there's a couple of ways to add line items to your estimate. And so what we're going to do is we're going to act like we're replacing the ceiling in the music room. And so what we're going to do is do drywall and remove. I'm just going to do remove. And so I'm just going to drag it over here and drop it. And then if you see down here, it added it. And then I'm going to go, and I need to replace it. So drop it on there. Okay, so now I'm going to have to tape it, and we're not going to remove. So we're going to do texture, ceiling, knockdown, and then we're going to paint it. So we'll go back to here to get our category codes, and then we're going to go down to paint. Now this is something else that's a little confusing, at least it was to me. So paint ceilings, walls, paint ceilings, floors, and walls. So you click on that, and it says drywall, plaster, ceiling. I guess I'm just wanted like seal and paint, drywall, but you're in the painting category, so it's actually saying painting, drywall, plaster, ceiling. So that's the one we want, and we're going to prime, seal the new drywall, and let's just put 2 coats of paint on. Okay, and so you've got all of that down here in your line codes, line estimate. So what I'm going to do is go back to our Claim Explorer, and then I'm going to go to Estimate, and so here's what we've got so far. And I put title heading here. I'll show you something different here in a second. So we got estimate, remove drywall, replace drywall, texture, ceiling, knockdown, prime, and then 2 coats of paint. And then of course you have your recap, which is like your summary page. And then this kind of gives an overview of everything. And then your totals. Now if you wanted to add overhead and profit, you could do it here. If you want to change your coverages, you could do it here as well. So let's go back to the estimate, and I want to show you something. And then I'm going to delete all of this stuff. Now what I want to show you on this, on the Claim Explorer section, is you see where this says structure, you can right click on it and rename it. So I'm going to do, this is actually going to be interior. So I'm going to click on the interior. Now the other way you can add stuff to the estimate, which is how I like to do it, is before I show you that, see this title heading down here? I'm going to delete that and show you how I came about. So it says add a title to the estimate. I'm going to say music room. I'm going to hit OK. This is similar to when I do Xactimate estimates. I have ceiling, walls, floor. Well, it breaks it down by these line descriptions, these line items in Symbility. So I put the heading music room right here. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go back and we're going to do the same thing, but I'll show you how I like to add those line items. So we're going to go to a drywall. If you're watching this, you think, gosh, there's other ways to do it. Well, of course there is. I'm just showing you, based on my limited experience with Symbility, how I found to do things. And so we're going to go to ceiling, 1/2 inch. And so you can highlight it, hit remove, and then right click on it, and see this, it says add item to batch. And so we've got the music room here, so I'm going to add that item to batch. I'm going to do the same thing for replace. Okay, so now we need to add texture to the ceiling, and we're going to do a knockdown. We're going to replace, because it's new drywall, add item to batch, and then we're going to go to paint. So do P and T. You can hit P and T while you're here to get to it. And then we're going to be painting ceiling, floors, walls. Double click. And so we're going to paint drywall on the ceiling. So I'm going to click that. And then we're going to prime. So I'm going to click, right click, add it to batch. And then I'm going to do 2 coats, right click, add it to batch. So now, see where it says this little icon? It has like a picture of a box. I'm going to click on it. And here's my batch or my bundle for music room. So I'm going to left click, hold and drag. Then I'm going to drop it on music room, and then that drops everything into this music room. So now let's go back to Claim Explorer. Here's our estimate. We're on the interior, so click that 1 time so it doesn't duplicate it. Now you see this heading, it says music room. So we got interior, and then we're on the music room, and then it tells us what we're doing on the music room. Ceiling drywall, ceiling knockdown, painting. So then it of course does the recap and everything. One more thing that I'll show you is you can add photos directly from here too. And so I'll click on this photo, and then you can come over here, right click on this blank page. I'm just going to pick a photo here. So I double click, and then I'm just going to say music room. I'm just going to make up something, room, wall, damage. Hit OK. And see, that adds it to the file now. And there you have it. That's Symbility. That's what it looks like. That's how you can use it to diagram. If you get deployed working with a carrier that uses Symbility, hopefully that helps. They have online training. You can go to their website and sign up for a free account, and you can do some practice estimates in Symbility to get familiar with it. If you've liked the video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the like button too, and leave any comments regarding future videos that you would like to see. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.